Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. It's time for episode 42 of What's in My Tumbler. Starting out with the rainbow tiger. This is gold, red, and blue tiger's eye. And yeah, right there's some moisture coming out of the seal on this. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I didn't replace that seal at this go round, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if maybe I need to replace that seal as well. I probably will need to do it, but for now I'm just going to see if it continues to leak a little bit, because it could just be that I didn't tighten it down all the way. I'm also going to go ahead and apologize for being a terrible YouTuber, and during the filming of this, 2 of my lights died because I couldn't be bothered to make sure that they were charged. So we start out pretty okay, but by the end of this we're going to be in the dark ages. So going through my tiger's eye here, seeing what needs to be left in stage 1 for a little bit longer and what can move on to stage 2. And I actually ended up being able to start a stage 2 batch, but I think I'm still gonna have a second batch of stage 1, and mostly that's just gonna be because there's a lot of rocks. I still have at least 2 blue tiger's eyes that aren't ready to go yet. Haven't even started, so I do start a stage 2 batch with this, and first I got a little confused, so I'm gonna put, that's the stage 1 resin filler, and then I was like, what am I doing here? So the stage 1 rocks that were in the barrel, put those in the strainer, and then make sure I get everything out of there, because I don't want any of the resin to be left in there. Now I'm gonna pour my stage 2 rocks in, and they filled up the barrel nicely, and I did put a little bit of filler in there. Again, I'm using some resin scraps. These are brand new. They've never been tumbled in any medium before, so they don't have any grit stuck in them, so these can go in whatever stage. So this is going to be stage 2. I put a little bit too much in there, so I did end up taking some out. I didn't want these to be too full, but so this is stage 2 tiger's eye with some resin filler, and now I have that's some borax to help thicken. I like to use borax in 2, 3, and 4 stages to help thicken the slurry and help it to work a little bit better. That's 3 tablespoons of stage 2 grit. And then now we are going to get the lid on, and this going for a week in stage 2. And I'm very excited to finally have some rocks moving out of stage 1, because it gets a little boring when everything's in stage 1. Alright, moving on to whatever's left. This is also in stage 1. This is a mix of rocks of various hardnesses. Not generally recommended for you to tumble rocks like this, but this is what I like to do. So I am going to go ahead and move my big white rock. I know we're in the rinsing stage, but I want to talk about the other stuff. The big white rock has some cracks that are opening up a little more than I'd like on that one end. So I am going to go ahead and move that over into stage 2. I might look at potentially grinding it down a little bit to see if I can get through those cracks. But as of now, I am going to move it on to stage 2, because I don't want those cracks to get any worse. They could potentially, break the whole rock apart, and I'll show you why that's a concern in a minute. So most of these rocks are still needing more time in stage 1. Some of them are able to move over into stage 2. So as usual, the cup is stage 2 ready, the barrel is stage 1, and you can see this is a mix of a lot of different kinds of rocks. Some of this is just came from a mix already. Some of it is just remnants of other batches that weren't ready to move on with the rest of the rocks in that batch. So yeah, and this rock actually shattered in the barrel. Those were the various pieces of that. So that's one of the dangers of tumbling rocks that have cracks, is they can shatter like that. So that's some more stage 1 rocks I had sitting around, and then this is just, if you know me, you know when I order from the rock shed, I tend to order their mixed batches to use as filler like this. So that's what that is. Those are some filler rocks that I had, and then we're going to get some water in those stage 2 ready rocks and then put some water in the stage 1 rocks. It was at this point that I realized I didn't top up the water on my Rainbow Tiger batch, so off camera I did go and put water in that batch. But if you didn't notice that, neither did I until I put water in this one. So next we've got green Tree Agate that is still in stage 1. These rocks are just going to take a little bit. They're a little bit harder. Agates tend to take a little bit longer. They turn out beautifully, but they do take a while to round out and get smooth the way that I like them to be. So I'm not surprised that these are still in stage 1. And we are getting there. I'm starting to have to put some filler in these batches to make sure I have a full barrel. So they are starting to get there with the rounding, but it's still going to take a minute. So again, cup is stage 2 ready. The barrel is stage 1. I did have quite a few that were ready for stage 2, but not enough to fill an entire barrel. So I had a whole video last week about what I'm looking for when I'm moving rocks and deciding where they're going. So if you're interested in that, you can go check out last week's video. That one has a big crater. I'm kind of trying to decide if I should just go ahead and break it, because it's not gonna get nothing's gonna get into that crevice to shine it up or grind it at all. So yeah, any kind of concave curves that you just have to be careful with them, because they don't get shiny, because you have to have friction in order to get that shine. And if it's concave, things don't tend to make it all the way into those curves. And so they tend to not shine very well. So if you have something that's concave, you might want to consider grinding that out a little bit. So I have 2 cups, neither of which is enough for a full barrel. This is the last of the green Tree Agate that I have that hasn't yet started. And then I didn't quite have enough to fill it up. So this is, again, some of my mixed rocks from the rock shed that I like to get. So filled up the water on the stage 2 rocks, put the water in this barrel, and now we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of stage 1 grit and get this one buttoned up and put on the tumbler for, again, a week. I tumble everything for a week unless it's something like glass or very soft rocks that don't need to go for an entire week. And in general, all of the harder stuff you should do in a week at a time at least. At least every week you should check and refresh the grit in whatever stage. All right, so Bloodstone. Again, this one is going to end up staying in stage 1, and I forgot to empty the water out of the pot between the green Tree Agate and this one, just like I did last week. You'd think I'd learn my lesson, but no. But that's okay. Get these all rinsed off, and there was a lot of grit and dirt in here, so I was trying not to get too much water in here, but it's okay. These are going to stay in stage 1 anyway. Again, doing my sorting like I always do. Actually, quite a few of these were ready to go. It was about 50-50. So about half of these are ready to go into stage 2, and half are still needing time in stage 1. But again, neither of that is enough time in a particular, or enough space to fill a barrel. You need 2/3 to 3/4 full. I tend to go more full, which is also why I get some bruising. Bruising is caused by having your barrel too full or too empty. So there's like a sweet spot in there that you got to kind of find to minimize bruising. Also, mixing hardnesses will cause bruising as well. But if you have everything that's all the same hardness and you're getting bruising, it's because your barrel is not full enough or it's too full. Either of those cases will cause that. So now that it's super dark and you can't see anything because all my lights are out, I am filling this up. This is some micro mixed or mini mixed rocks from the rock shed that I'm, again, just using as filler. I like the chips that these make. They make great toppers and planters to put on top of the dirt, so you're not just seeing dirt in your plants. I like to use it for that. So I just throw it in with whatever, because I don't really care if that gets fully shined up or not. But anyway, thank you for watching my video this week. I'll be back next week with another episode of What's in My Tumbler.